Overthinking is when your mind gets stuck on a thought. It plays the same worry over and over again. It is like a wheel spinning in the mud, going nowhere. You might replay a conversation from yesterday. You might worry about something that could happen next week. This mental loop feels productive. You think you are solving a problem, but you are not solving anything. You are just digging a deeper groove in your mind. This process is often called rumination. It is different from thoughtful reflection, which helps you learn and move forward with new insights. Rumination, however, is a repetitive cycle with no end. This essay will show you how. Your brain has a very important job. Its primary goal is to keep you safe. To do this, it has a built-in alarm system. A key part is a small, almond-shaped area called the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's smoke detector. It is always scanning for potential danger. When it senses a threat, a real physical danger like a speeding car, or a social threat like fear of embarrassment, it sounds the alarm. This triggers stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This is your body's fight-or-flight response, preparing you to face the danger. But today, the alarm often goes off for things that aren't life-threatening. A critical post on social media. Have you ever noticed your mind wandering when you are not focused on a specific task? Perhaps when you are washing the dishes. This mental chatter comes from a specific set of brain regions called the default mode network, or DMN. Think of the DMN as your brain's screensaver. When your mind is not actively engaged in a task, the DMN lights up. Its job is to process your past. Think about your future. Consider your relationships with others. The DMN is not inherently bad. However, for people who tend to overthink, the DMN can become a playground for anxiety. It can get stuck in a loop of rumination. This is why it can be so hard to just stop thinking about something that bothers you. You are shifting from being lost in thought to being present in the moment. Stress and overthinking have a very close relationship. They feed each other in a continuous, exhausting cycle. When you are stressed, your body is flooded with the hormone cortisol. But chronic stress keeps cortisol high. High cortisol weakens the connection to the prefrontal cortex. It is the CEO of your brain. Chronic stress strengthens the amygdala, the brain's alarm center. Like a CEO offline and an alarm stuck on high, small triggers can set off a major worry spiral. You lose the ability to step back and rationally assess. This creates a downward spiral. Overthinking, the constant mental churning and worrying, is interpreted by your brain as a new threat. You get trapped in a feedback loop. Stress causes rumination, rumination causes stress. Okay, yeah. Overthinking is not just a harmless mental habit. It has real, tangible consequences that ripple out into every area of your life. When you are trying to rest, your brain's default mode network often becomes more active. A study found that rumination is a key factor predicting how long it takes someone to fall asleep. This lack of restorative sleep leaves you fatigued, irritable, and less resilient to stress the next day. Overthinking consumes a huge amount of cognitive resources. Your brain's working memory gets filled up with worries and what-ifs. You might find yourself reading the same page of a book over and over, or completely missing what someone just said to you. Constantly replaying negative events and imagining worst-case scenarios naturally leads to feelings of sadness, anxiety, and hopelessness. It reinforces a negative view of yourself and the world. Ultimately, this ripple effect can lead to avoidance and inaction, but in the long run, it shrinks your world and prevents you from growing. All because of the noise inside your own head. The first and most powerful step in breaking the cycle of overthinking is to simply notice that it is happening. You cannot change a habit you are not aware of. Take a mental step back and label what is happening. You can say to yourself, this is overthinking. Here is that worry story again. This simple act of labeling creates a small gap between you and the thought. When you label an emotional experience with words, you engage your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, rational part of your brain. It is like turning on a light in a dark room. The scary shadows, your anxious thoughts, are revealed to be just harmless objects, mental events. For example, a friend, let's call her Sarah, used to get caught in loops of social anxiety after every party. She learned to pause and say, "This is the I embarrassed myself story." By naming it, she stopped identifying with it so deeply. The story was still there, but it was just a story, not her reality. Worrying, analyzing, catastrophizing. You can be gentle and even a little humorous about it. Your mind and body are deeply connected. You cannot effectively calm your mind while your body is still primed for danger. Therefore, the second step is to consciously calm your body's physical stress response. One of the quickest and most effective ways to do this is through slow, diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Repeat this for just 1 minute. Repeat this for just 2 minutes. This directly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. It tells the amygdala to stand down. It is a direct biological intervention that short-circuits the fight or flight response. Another simple physical action is to change your posture or move your body. Or, better yet, go for a short, brisk walk, even if it is just for 5 minutes. Physical movement helps burn off stress hormones and quiet the DMN's chatter. Think of it like turning down the volume on your internal alarm. Once you have labeled the thought and calmed your body, the next step is to take control of the rumination itself. A highly effective technique for this is to create a worry window, say 10 minutes, to intentionally do all your worrying. When an anxious thought pops up outside of this scheduled time, you acknowledge it and then make a deal with yourself. I will think about this later. Then, you gently redirect your attention to the task at hand. The purpose is not to eliminate worry, but to contain it. This reassures the anxious part of your brain that the concern will be addressed. It stops the worry from leaking into every part of your day. During your scheduled worry time, you must fully engage with the worries. Sit down with a pen and paper. Write down everything that is on your mind. Let the thoughts flow without judgment, and explore worst-case scenarios to your heart's content, but only for the allotted 10 minutes. When the timer goes off, you stop. You close the notebook and move on to a pleasant or engaging activity. It breaks the habit of immediate, automatic rumination. He was reclaiming his mental energy. Overthinking is not a character flaw. It is a learned mental habit, driven by your brain's natural tendency to look for threats and get lost in its own stories. Your brain's alarm system, the amygdala, and its idle chatter network, the DMN, can team up, especially under stress, to create a powerful loop of rumination. But understanding this pattern is the key to changing it. First, learn to recognize when you are overthinking and label the thought without judgment. Second, actively calm your body using slow breathing or gentle movement. Third, contain your worries in a scheduled worry window. These actions are not a one-time fix, but a practice. Each time you choose to label a thought instead of following it, you weaken the old habit and strengthen a new one. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Every small step is a victory. You have the power to quiet the storm inside your own mind. You can move from being a passenger on a runaway train of thought to being the calm and capable conductor. By understanding your brain and applying these simple tools, you can break free from the exhausting cycle of overthinking and reclaim your focus, reclaim your peace, reclaim your joy. Notice it, name it, breathe, move, and let it go until later.